Bills?
It's pretty special, and you just hit the nail on the head when you said places like Green Bay and Buffalo are different because it is a smaller town. There's not as much to do. When we leave the stadium at night, there's more people getting together. It's that more family atmosphere. You've heard Sean McDermott talk about it as a lot. But when the free agents come into Buffalo, they're always amazed by what the family culture is in Buffalo, and some of that just comes from having a small town. But Bills Mafia has gotten a lot of notoriety lately, and it's a passionate fan base. You compared it to SEC football, and I would compare it to a college crowd at times, the way they live and die with everything that the Buffalo Bills do.
What concerns you about the Bills? We know McDermott's excellent. Josh Allen is special. Stephon Diggs is unguardable. Is there something you could see in the first quarter against the Colts? And it does, you may not want to talk about it because you love your Bills, but it does, you could see something this weekend and it worries you about this favorite in round one.
Yeah, they've just played so loose and so good these last 6 weeks that any adversity early on could maybe remind them back to that 16-0 playoff game last year when they had the lead on Houston, and they ended up not being able to complete it. So just something getting them tight, because right now they have it absolutely rolling on both sides of the ball. So could Indianapolis come out and Frank Reich, the former Buffalo quarterback, could he go up there with his team that rushes the football well, suck the life out of the ball a little bit? They're number 2 in the NFL. The Colts are in turnover differential. Maybe they get a turnover early. That kind of stuff would scare me, but this team in Buffalo is so good that their confidence shouldn't be shook by 1 or 2 bad plays early.
So you retired. You would have played and been a Pro Bowler for multiple years. You had a neck injury, a little like Chris Spielman. You're like, I'm going to hang it up, be safe, be with my family. You did that. You were both great players. But some guys, I watched the special on Tony Baselli last night. He played 7 years. For 7 of them, he was the best left tackle in football. That's the sport. But Sean McDermott, and Anthony Lynn, by the way, too. But when it comes to Sean McDermott, when did you kind of know? You still have a lot of connections there. What's his secret sauce? Every coach has a thing. McVay's dynamic. Belichick's intellect. What's McDermott's secret sauce?
It's likely culture. He started it with talking about the process. And the process started in training camp. My last year in the NFL, his first as a head coach, when we got rid of Ronald Darby and we traded away Sammy Watkins, and we would not long after get rid of our previous highest pick, and that was Marcel Darius. But what Sean McDermott wanted to do was get guys that fit his certain DNA, and those are all really good players, superstars in the league in some sense. But when you looked at how Sean McDermott wanted to build the team, it was a little bit different. And I'll never forget sitting in a meeting before the season. We still had a lot of talent on that team. LaShawn McCoy, Kyle Williams, a number of Pro Bowlers from that season, Richie Incognito, Tyrod Taylor. And we're looking at Sean and saying, hey, if you want to tank, you're going to have to get rid of a lot more of us. And he said, no. He said, no. This is a part of the process. And people in Buffalo, there's shirts about it. There's Joel Embiid references to it, but it truly has been about the process there. And that is setting up a culture built on trust. He's very good at communicating with the guys. He walks the walk. He's extremely organized. He works out himself. Everything he does he is consistent. And the consistency he brings on a day-to-day basis is what makes him special.
Now, Eric, there is a big difference between a regular season game and a playoff game. And the Bills, I still tend to think of the Bills as mostly a youthful team. They feel youthful, and some of that is just frankly Josh Allen.
Right.
But the difference when you've talked to pros or you've experienced from regular season intensity to playoff intensity.
Yeah, so I only got one experience at a playoff game myself in 9 years, but we did break the 17-year playoff drought in my final year, which was pretty special. But it does go up a notch. It feels like a primetime football game where the defensive line all tries a little bit harder. It feels like that, but it's everybody on the team. And when it's go home, win or go home, there's just so much on the line. Luckily for these guys either experienced the game in early 2018 that I was a part of the playoff game, or last year, most of the team played in that game against Houston last year or came in through free agency with playoff experience. I'm glad that this is no longer Josh Allen's first time in a playoff atmosphere.
Eric Wood joining us, Pro Bowl offensive lineman, formerly of the Bills. Not that I didn't think Stephon Diggs was great, but Josh Allen was young. Stephon Diggs is a star. And there was part of me thinking, okay, here comes Stephon, like OBJ to Cleveland. I'm like, I'm not sure if this fits. Josh Allen's a kid. It's Buffalo. Stephon Diggs feels like New York City feels. And there was a little bit of me that thought, I got to keep my eye. It's been great. Are you surprised a little that it's not only fit, it's the best combo right now in the league?
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised. I'm not surprised if you said make a take maybe week 4 or 5 of the season on, but if you would ask me preseason, I could never have foreseen this. I would have never foreseen that Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator, would open up the playbook to even give him the amount of opportunities to lead the league in receptions and catches. You combine that with the fact that they had no OTAs. They had no preseason games. So really a lot of their reps with full speed was happening in games, and we got to see them grow throughout the season to where this last month of the season, Stephon Diggs is virtually unstoppable.
Yeah. So Pro Football Focus put Josh Allen number 5. When you so you didn't get, you were 217. When did you first hear, when you're retired and you still got all your buddies in the locker room and Josh Allen gets drafted, when was the first text or call you got from a former teammate that said, dude, this guy, holy crap, oh, brother? Like, do you remember the first impressions by your former teammates?
Let me start off with this. My first interaction with Josh Allen was I was with Ryan Fitzpatrick down at the Masters in early 2018 prior to Josh getting drafted. They have the same agent. We connected down there, and my career had just ended from the neck injury, which came out of nowhere. So for me, I was thinking, hey, I just signed a contract extension with the Bills. Maybe I get a young guy to pour into, especially at the quarterback position, to where one day my kids go back up to Buffalo like, hey, that's daddy's buddy, whatever it may be. I meet Josh Allen, and I thought, I'm not really going to be bitter about this season at all unless they take Josh Allen and he's a stud, because this is my type of guy. Just spending the weekend with him. And Colin, I'm sure you've had experiences with him. If you spend any time with Josh Allen, he's one of the most likable people you've ever been around. He's also hyper competitive. He's tough. So that all kind of rang true. So my opinions of him that were formed in a weekend as training camp started and OTAs and everything else that was going, all the guys on the team were like, man, you would love this dude. I'm like, I know. And you know what? Josh has been so gracious to me. I still have my foundation up in Buffalo. He's so generous with his time. He's just a phenomenal dude. He's so easy to root for, though.
Yeah. Well, I know you'll be nervously watching this game because I know how much Buffalo means to you and your charity and your family. And I know you're going to be watching this thing getting anxiety like you're playing in it. I'd love to have you on again, Eric Wood. Absolutely. Doug Gottlieb said, get Eric Wood on the show. We did. You're great. And thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Bills win. Let's do it again next week. And before I go, I just want to say happy birthday, Colin. And I've always been a huge fan of the show, so it was an honor being on for the first time.
Oh, that's nice. Look at that, Joy. Isn't that nice? That was very nice by Eric Wood. It'd be nice if Baker Mayfield came on and wished me a happy birthday, but let's not go crazy here.
He might still tweet you. You still have a day left.
Yeah, that's right. Baker.
Now, that would be good TV. That would be great content.
Yeah, yes, it would. Thanks, buddy. Nice talking to you. Eric Wood.